Gobble, 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 gobble. Yes, I think I'm going to wobble after I eat this massive turkey for the pre-Thanksgiving cookout to make sure that I know how to cook my turkey. Anyways, the old Coot here coming back at you with another exciting video. Yes, it's turkey time. Actually, turkey time for me is pretty much all year round. But if you're only doing your turkey for Thanksgiving, this video might help you out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spatchcock the turkey, which means I'm going to cut it down the middle, cut the backbone out, basically open it up, like butterfly it, and then basically put it on a cooling rack and then let it go in the fridge. I'll give you all these times and all these things a little bit later in the video. But the whole goal here is to try to get out as much of the excess water that was used during the packing process as possible. So usually it takes about 2 days in the fridge for all that water to come out. You'd be surprised. You're like, oh my God, I'm losing water. The turkey's going to come out dry, blah, blah, whatever. No, it actually makes the turkey more juicy when you let that extra water come out, that excess packing water or whatever it is. So anyways, let's get into it. So if you bought a frozen turkey, right, you want to take your turkey from the freezer section at the market, throw it straight in the refrigerator for about 4 days. 4 days, 4.5 days, something like that. Just poke at it, right? Leave it in its original packaging, its original plastic or whatever it came in. Leave it all closed up and just let it do its thing of defrosting in the refrigerator correctly, properly, hygienically, whatever the case may be, health department wise, or whatever the case may be, for about 4 days. After 4 days, what you'll notice is when you poke it and touch it and prod it, you might feel that it's like really, really cold, like damn near frozen, but there should be some give to the meat, right? So there should be some give. What you'll notice is after 4 days, when you cut open the packaging, do this in like a tub or some kind of huge basin, or really wash out your kitchen sink well, right? Soap and water, get it all nice and clean. Put the turkey in there and then do it in there and just open it up or whatever. What you're going to notice is a lot of water is going to come out of it. And we're actually going to take out even more water than that. That water is basically packing water. So the companies that, you know, package the turkeys, they're trying to squeeze every last dime out of the sucker. So they're going to put extra water in the turkey when they freeze it to help with that packing process. And you want that out of your turkey before you cook it. So what you do is, after the 4 days, you're going to be like at this point, 4.5 days. It might take 5 days. But what's going to happen is you're going to pull, I think it's from this end, from the butt end, right, the cavity end. What you're going to do is you're going to pull out the neck. You're going to pull out like whatever giblets or giblets were in there, whatever, take all those out. Sometimes they're in a baggie on top of the turkey. It all depends how they pack it, where you get your turkey from, etc. But the goal is to try to get to a point where you're here and you can pat it down with a paper towel, which I've already done, and kind of set up your prep area for the cutting. What we're going to do is we're going to cut out the backbone and basically open it up or butterfly it so it's breast side down, basically backside open. What that does is that allows for a faster cooking time. You get a more evenly cooked turkey because instead of you trying to cook a huge mound, right, you're now cooking like a flat turkey, right? So it's like it's been pancaked, basically. Also, what that's going to allow for is more flavor infusion. So when I go to salt this, which I'll explain in a minute, I'm going to have more surface area to flavor, right? The backside, the front side, the inside. It's just gonna help that whole process of creating a more juicy turkey, more flavorful turkey. You kind of get a sense of what's going on there. Okay, so what's the whole process involved? Just really quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the backbone. I'm going to butterfly it open. I'm going to put it onto a cooling rack. And then also the cooling rack has some paper towels underneath to sop up some of that excess water that was there during the packing process to absorb some of that. And also I have a cookie tray or a baking tray underneath. This happens to be a Vollrath baking sheet, right? This is like a half sheet. A full sheet size would be out to here. The thing would be, I can't even fit my hands on the camera, but a full sheet would be out to here. So this is a half sheet for about like a 14.5 pound turkey. And then the cooling rack itself just kind of fits in there perfectly. Vollrath and Vollrath. I will put links down below in the description as well. You're also going to need either a good pair of scissors, right? A good pair of like poultry shears, which is here. These are Victorinoxes. I will put links down below in the description, also in the comment section. You know, a little bit of money goes a long way. Maybe a lot of bit of money goes a long way, but it's good to invest in these because you never know when you're going to need them. But I will put links to both of these. You could use one or the other or both. You're also going to need a really sharp knife. to kind of help fuss and fidget and try to get through some of these hard to cut through places that maybe the scissors can't get through, or maybe you need to like cut away some meat to kind of get to the bone to be able to go through the bone. But that's why you want to have something like this. This is a Victorinox. Yes, I'll put links down below in the description as well, so you can kind of check those out. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. This is really the bread and butter of what the whole operation is. So I'm using the Victorinox poultry shears or cutting shears because they work the best. These things are like surgical steel or stainless steel or something similar, but they work really well. They're really good at angling and getting everything else in there. So if you start with a fresh turkey, let's say you bought a fresh turkey from the market. Let me reclose these so it's a little safer. If you start with a fresh turkey from the market, what you want to do is you can do this the same day that you buy it at the market. So you want to cut out the backbone, butterfly it open, right? Put it onto your cooling rack, your baking sheet, paper towel in there to kind of sop up some of those excess liquids, and then put it in you're going to salt it. I'll show you how to do all that in a minute, and stick it in the fridge for about 2 days. And after the first day, you want to flip it over so you get even drying and airing out on both sides of the turkey. If you buy your turkey frozen, you want to buy your turkey about, I would say about 6 or 7 days before you're ready to cook it. So it's going to take 4 days to defrost in the fridge. Then you're going to start this process of cutting it open, taking out the backbone, butterflying it open, putting it on the rack. You might need 2 days, 2.5 days. It's all kind of dependent. You let your turkey tell you when it's time to be baked. And the way you'll know that is when you stop seeing new juices form on the bottom of your paper towels. But anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. So let me go ahead and just start the whole process here. So what you want to do is poultry shears. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in from the cavity side. If you haven't already taken out the neck, which might be in there, there's also going to be like a plastic tab that they use to hang this when they're pulling out the, processing or whatever. Take that out. Take out any of like that bag of giblets that's in there. Take everything out. And now we're ready to go. So what I did was I already made a slice down the back of the turkey. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in, try to keep this part away, and just kind of go find the backbone like you'll feel it. You should be able to feel it, right? Like it's about right there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start cutting. What I'm doing is I'm trying to save some of this skin here to kind of wrap around when it's all cut up, just so that I have a more skin. Who doesn't like cooked skin off of a turkey, right? So as you can see, these Victorinox shears are just going right through. By the way, this is the point when you have a wet hand and you have a dry hand. So if you need to answer a phone, guess what? Use your dry hand. Paper towels are your friend. Have plenty of paper towels on hand in case the phone rings or you need to talk to somebody or you need to dry your hands quick or whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull back some of the skin right here and just go ahead and keep cutting. So as you can see, I've already made 2 cuts, right? My backbone's right here. So I've got this side going. And you can use just the tip if you like. Just saying, that's what she said. You can use just the tip of these. Try not to go too far deep. If you come to a place in the turkey where the scissors aren't going through, then you can go ahead and go deeper into the scissors to make your cuts. You may also want to use 2 hands when you're holding your shears so that we just get a better grip. Whatever works best for you. That's the best way I can explain that. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull back some of the skin again. And this is also allowing me to see where I'm actually cutting. So I'd say I got about, what is that, about a good 5 or 6 inches up the backbone. What I'm doing is I'm just going to keep going through. You hear a lot of crunching noises and breaking noises and cracking noises. Now what I can do is I can, instead of turning the turkey on the board, what I can do is relock this. So I'm going to use the dry part of my palm here so my shears don't get all slimy and slippery. What you can do is set this down for a second, and what you want to do is you want to turn your board. Look how cool that is. And if you notice, it's all about the preparation, right? I got paper towels underneath the board. I got paper towels on the board just to make sure that this doesn't turn into one big, huge, slippery mess. But what I want to do is I want to keep turning this. Turn, 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 turn. There's a season. Turn, turn. Let me get this out of the way. This was the box that the Victorinox shears came in. Let me turn this. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to reopen these again using the dry parts of my hand. So now I'm at the top part, right, where the neck connects. And the same kind of vibe here. Like this is where you want to just kind of pull and stretch. So here's that bag. Oh, look, a little surprise in there. It's like Halloween. Wait, it is Halloween. Okay, I want to pull this out and throw this into a bowl and then throw this into the fridge. We might use this for like the gravy or the sauces. I believe in here there should be 2 kidneys. I think that's what's in here. And there should be some other, like the heart I think is in here, which you can use for your gravy, which I may have to do a video on later. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this in a bowl, and then the bowl I'm going to throw into the refrigerator eventually. Okay, so now here we go. Here's where the neck is, right? Here's one part of the neck. Here's the other part of the neck. This is a point when you want to like pull back your skin or just snip it a little bit. See that? Just like surgery. All you surgeons out there, you know, wives, if you're married to a surgeon or whatever your arrangement is, significant other, partner, have your surgeon in your family, your doctor, do this. Maybe you're married to a surgeon, and you know, let her, let him, let they, whatever pronoun you want to use, let them go ahead and finally tune this process. So what I've done was I've cut up from the bottom, and now I'm cutting down from the top. And again, we're just trying to separate, conquer, and divide. And as you reach in there, what you'll notice is you should have a nice, good separation. Be careful. You just cut through bone, so you might get some sharp bones in here. So just, you know, go slow, take your time. I'm going to cut away some more skin here just so I can actually feel, right? I can feel between. I can feel, and I can also see what it is that I'm doing. So I'm just going to give this like a little bit more of a cut. I'm going to go deep in there again and just start firing away. And with these shears, it cuts through bone like butter. So that's always a good thing. And eventually, remember what I was saying about you can use the tip to start, but eventually you're going to have to start getting more and more deeper into the scissors. This would be one of those situations. So I'm just pressing, using some of that leverage. Oh, and I'm almost all the way through on this side. I want to make sure I do the same on that side, so I got a nice even cutting cut as I go through. Remember, pull back the skin if you can. So I'm just making shallow cuts here to go through the skin. Remember, wet hand, dry hand, just like flouring a chicken fried steak, right? Because you want to have that dry hand when the phone rings, or you got to shut off your camera, or you need to, you know, attend to something or whatever. You always want to make sure you got both. So here's half of the neck that came out. I was hoping to get it all out in one piece, but there's half of the neck. Let me go ahead and lock these back up again. I'm going to do another table turn. Right, remember, paper towels are your friend. So let's come back here again. Let's open these up again. There we go. So now I'm going to come back up the center. And I should have, there's usually a bone right here, the hip, part of the hip bone, I believe it is, where you're going to hit some resistance. So just take your time, little tiny snips at a time. So snip, 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 snip as you go till you're almost all the way through. So I would say about right there, I'm almost all the way through. And on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull. Watch where your hands are. Watch where your fingers are. Remember, keep a good distance between the scissors and your fingers. And this may be a situation where having a partner could or could not hinder you. So you'll have to figure out how you work as a team with whoever's helping you. Small children, I would keep away from this area as much as possible. Okay, so I'm almost all the way through. I hit that bone again, that hip bone. And again, what I want to do is I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper inside with the scissors. That's what she said. And basically now what I'm trying to use is I'm trying to use this part right here, which is pretty much like the bone crusher. I want to use this part right here and the leverage and the force of this angle right here to cut through that larger hip bone. I think that's what it is. Top of the femur. There you go. And I'm through. So now on this side, I'm completely through. What I'm doing now is I'm going through like the back ribs. Boom. That part's out. And now I can go over here, do the same thing. And there we go. There's my alien baby right there. If you've ever seen the movie Alien, Aliens, whatever incarnation movies there were, guess what? There's your alien right there. I've seen a picture. One year I'm going to do it, but I've seen a picture where what they did was they skinned the skin and they cut out all the ribs and they left this attached, and it really did look like the alien. But anyways, hope this scares some of you. Maybe it should. But anyways, this is good eating right here. The neck, all this neck meat, all this good stuff. You can make a soup out of this. You can kind of do whatever you want with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it into my bowl that's in the sink for further processing later. Okay, So now that we're in, see all this residual ice? This is where, okay, this is where you can put your shears away because you won't need these anymore. So I'm going to set these aside. But here's the situation where now you're going to go wet on wet. And basically what you want to do is you want to open up this cavity, pull out any of this ice. So this is what I was talking about. This is water that they hose down inside the turkey to clean it out, right? To clean out all the stuff when they processed it. But guess what? They leave that water in there, and this weighs, you know, a few ounces or whatever the case may be, so they can stick it to you and charge you more money when you buy either a fresh or a frozen turkey. So just keep that in mind that this will be in there. Okay, so this goes in the sink as well, not in the bowl, but this will just go in a part of the sink. Anyways, here we are. So here we are now. Let's see, we got a good piece of meat. So now I'm just going to open this up so you can kind of see what's going on there. And like I said, those paper towels underneath, paper towels around, totally help, right? That's what's helping to sop up some of that liquid so it doesn't end up on your kitchen counter, your kitchen floor, you know, your kitchen, wherever. What you could do is you could leave the turkey like this if you wanted to. You can kind of put it back together if you want to. But the whole point is to have this open so that now I have a better seasoning area. Right, I have a better area where I can put my salt in, my kosher salt, season this all up, and then season the other side, put it on to the cooling rack all spread out, right? And then what I could then do is then put it in the fridge one day, 24 hours on one side, another day, 24 hours on the other side in the fridge with that salt so that the salt will pull out more of this excess water. Some people would go ahead and rinse their turkey, which you could do. You could shove this thing in the sink and rinse it out and whatever you think you're going to be more hygienic or whatever the case may be. I find that when you bake it in an oven at 350 degrees for 2 hours, that pretty much kills off any bacteria that would have been on there. So just saying, but always practice safe food handling practices. So again, you've got cut ribs here, very sharp. Just be careful. Basically what I want to do is I want to pull, try to get this separated. There you go. So I had a little bit of a pot, just like a chiropractor, right? Here's more ice that just came out of this. So I'm going to throw that in the sink as well. Here's another massive chunk of ice. See all this ice they're like little diamonds that you find, little frozen diamonds. So this is after 4 days of thawing out in the fridge. That's why I said it's a good idea to do this after 4 days of thawing out in the fridge, right? If it was previously frozen, just so you can see where all this is. If I would have waited one more day, all this would have been water and it just would have been a huge mess. So we're still within, you know, the place that we want to be. But anyways, these are two little oysters that hopefully will come out great when I bake them up. And you kind of get a sense of what's going on there. Okay, so here we go. So here's basically our turkey. So I'm going to open this up as much as I can. There's the back of the breastbone is right here. All this is ice. See, all this right there, all ice. That's going to go ice, baby. That's going to go in the sink as well. And then now's a good idea where paper towels really are your friend. So here, I'm going to grab some paper towels. I'm going to wipe off my hands as much as I can. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paper towel this whole area just to try to get some of that excess ice from both sides. There's another little chunk. Here's more little chunks. And you will find this. As you go through the process, you will find that you have little ice chunks everywhere. Like try to throw these away. There's that part. Okay, so there's that. Here's this. We've gotten to this point. Now it's up to you. Like I said, you can either break this down further. You can cut through here. See these two beautiful oysters, right, of meat right here? You can either cut down the middle where the back of the breastbone is. The back of the breastbone comes down to here. It goes there, and then it comes up to here. Or you can leave it like this. You can roast it like this if you want to. At least you have an area where the oven heat, when you do eventually bake it, can penetrate down this way for about an hour. Usually then I flip it over and I do the breast side up for 2 hours. You're going to have to do the thermometer thing, which we'll do in another video, probably in a couple days from now when this one's ready to go into the oven. But for the most part, spatchcocking your turkey, basically we're about, I would say 75% of the way there. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here because there's a lot of cleaning up, tidying up I need to do. There's a lot of wiping and that kind of vibe and stuff. But I'll be back shortly with another video to show you all the salting process. So stay tuned for that. I'm the Old Coot, and I'll catch you all literally on the next video.